Welcome to the North American Grasslands. I'm your host, Logan Wacko. And these grasslands are temperate grasslands. They grow to be 3 to 4 inches tall, and it gets to about 10 to 30 inches of rain each year. Alright, out here in the grasslands we have multiple game birds, such as the sage quail, the bobwhite quail, and also the Chinese ringneck pheasant. Chinese ringneck pheasant is an avid game bird that most hunters chase every year. They are found throughout Texas all the way up to South Dakota and Canada. Their coloration is a brown with gray, black stripes on the tail feathers. They have a green head with white patches on their cheeks and a yellow wing. They are really hard to find. Can you find the pheasant?
Here we have the Chinese ringneck pheasant. It uses camouflage as an adaptation. Whenever it's hiding, it tucks in its head so that you don't see all those bright feathers, and it has those brown feathers right there to camouflage in. Alright, sweet.
As you can see, in the grasslands, humans have made many negative impacts. As they migrate to the grasslands, they leave much trash and debris. Also, agriculture and urban development in the grasslands are mostly being negatively affected. The grasslands are perfect for such activities because they are flat and have fertile soil. By all this development, it reduces food for wild animals, shelter, and pollutes the air and water supply. Also, having livestock often results in overgrazing, which results in permanent loss of grass and loss of nutrients contained in the soil.
Okay, so there's 4 types of symbiosis in the grasslands. There's mutualism, and one example is bacteria that lives in the bison's stomachs. These animals have a hard time breaking down grass, and the bacteria help them, so they both benefit. There's communalism, and one example of that is when cattle walk through grass, they cause insects to fly away. When they do this, the cattle egret likes to eat the insects. This is why the cattle egrets like to follow cattle. So the cattle egrets get helped, but the cattle don't. They neither get helped or harmed. And there's parasitism. An example of a parasitic relationship is the cowbird. The cowbird lays its eggs in other birds' nests. This way, the other bird has to raise it, and the cowbird can reproduce fast without doing any work. So the cowbird benefits, and the other birds get harmed. And then there's predation. An example of predation is the relationship between a red fox and a black-tailed jackrabbit. The red fox hunts and eats black-tailed jackrabbits.
In the grasslands, the endangered species are the plains bison. The invasive species is the wild boar.
Prairie dogs have a series of calls that they use in order to alert others around them of a nearby predator. This is a form of self-defense. The black-tailed jackrabbit has a brownish black coat that blends in with the ground and foliage of the North American grasslands. This is a prime example of camouflage. The viceroy butterfly mimics the monarch butterfly because the monarchs taste horrible while they taste amazing. This is a form of mimicry.
Charles Darwin, born in 1809, he was a British scientist that changed how we think of nature. In 1831, he went aboard a 5-year expedition on the HMS Beagle. He went to the Galapagos Islands and studied and surveyed organisms. He noticed that each of the islands had similar organisms, but each varied in some small way. He returned to England in 1836 and studied for 20 years. In 1858, he went public with his discovery. In 1859, he wrote on the origin of species by means of natural selection. This book explained that all organisms evolved over time to help it survive and reproduce. It was a controversial book because it opposed the religious ideas of how the world was created. He died in 1882.